Will the goddess of death, Reaper, deny somebody an afterlife that's pledged to another god? Like, for example, Vershire, because they're mortal rivals. Out of her time on the plane, there are only a handful of instances that she has denied somebody's request for her own personal reasons to go to whatever afterlife they are designated for. But she has denied people who are destined for a god's territory to go somewhere else. Like, for example, if somebody were to worship Tarma and they were supposed to go to his hell or his heaven, but then heaven or the 10 hells comes out and argues, no, because of these reasons, this individual should go to our realm. Then it becomes Reaper's job to hear all three cases, or whoever's interested in the soul, and then make a determination on where they should go. 95% of the time, she is going to side with the god that the mortal has pledged their soul to. But she can put conditions on where that soul can go within that god's domain. Because pretty much every god has a heaven, a neutral, and a hell version of their own domain. And she bases on where that soul can go if she decides to put a restriction on that soul based on the god's holy text. Yeah, she actually not only has her own holy text, but she knows every other god's domain and where their rules are for putting soul. But there are only a handful of instances that she, for personal reasons, has denied somebody an afterlife. And one of those instances is very personal to her because there was a high-level priest in her church who had a lolly problem. And as most people know, the gods have servants that attend to them and will be with them in vulnerable positions, aka them being nude or undressed or not proper. And this priest had a lolly thing where he would put himself in positions where he could constantly see her naked or as often as possible, and then made a bunch of recollections using a memory stone to materialize them into basically forming CP. So when the religious police figured this out and let her know, they started hunting him, and he denounced her as his god. And then he ran to another god and started worshiping them. And while I'm not going to say which god he ran to, the religious police eventually got him, murdered him, and then she brought him back to life. She denied him an afterlife, even though that god was fighting for him. She was like, no, he's come with me. She resurrected him, and he is now, hundreds of years later, still in torment, locked away, denied death, and even his family and friends are in torment for what he did, just because it would make him suffer. And if you know Reaper, this level of vengeance is very unlike her. And you could also get an OC that tortures that sick pervert.